Hi, my name is Holly Joseph, and I originally wasn't going to say anything, and then I kept thinking of so many things that I wanted to say, and it starts out with me, and I'm sorry, but there's a connection if you'll bear with me. I woke up not very long ago, actually just within a few months, woke up thinking of an outrage that happened in my high school. And I'm trying to think of whether I should tell you the outrage or let you say the same thing that everyone said. It's just the way things were. So I relate that. Yes, this is in Oklahoma. Yes. But I'm telling you they were the same thing in other states as well. That's why. And so I wanted to just point out that one of the things that I just haven't heard expressed this way is that we have progress when we have someone like Bunny who says, this doesn't have to be the way things are. Let's work to change it. And that's what I think is a profound, gratitude that appreciation that we owe her. And then since her death, we went to the Women's March and we heard when one person speaks out, when someone speaks out for one woman, they're speaking out for all women. Or conversely, if they speak out for all women, they're speaking for each of us. But I did want to share that her daughters went to BCC. That's Bethesda Chevy Chase High School. And she recounted this story, I'm sure a bunch of you heard it, about her daughters being discouraged from taking automotive class, and the teacher said, no, they'll hear some bad language. And she said, well, they hear some bad language around our house too, it's okay. So and he pummeled it with all the reasons that her daughter couldn't be there. But I never expressed gratitude to her that my daughter later took the automotive class, and for her speaking out probably enabled Stephanie Joseph and Sally Jabor and classmates to be able to do that. And so I just think there are so many good things and so many things that we'll be so sorry that we didn't get to talk to her about and get her views on things. But we'll press on and have her spirit with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have one other guest here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, hi. My name is Susan Hurst, and I'm a member of Business and Professional Women of Maryland.
Why don't you come up?
Are you going to speak?
Yeah. No. I'm just going to say hi, who I am. And it's so good to see Marty, and I work with Linda Feely, and we're in the leadership with BPW Maryland.
Why don't you come up so we can be taped?
Well, just let her go. I'd rather have it on tape and have her stand.
Hi, I'm Susan Hurst, and I'm a guest today, and I'm a member of Business and Professional Women of Maryland, and we're delighted to be a partner in this organization. And I normally would love to come, but I'm a federal worker, but I'm furloughed today, so that's why I'm here. Ordinarily, it's difficult for me to get away. So I'm very happy and just love hearing everything about Bunny. And I was one of those that woke up late, too, because when I was in high school, we did not have Title IX. And I did fight to take, what did I take? Architectural drafting, because only boys took that, and it made me want to become an architect, but then of course my guidance counselor said only men are architects, so therefore I was born a little too soon, I guess, because I didn't get to go and take that. But I'm so delighted to hear everyone's stories, and Bunny is amazing. And I think that what we really need to do is to make sure that we carry on her legacy and that we educate, because I learned so much today. And think about all of the young people who have never heard of Bunny Sandler, and they take it for granted that what you have in school, everybody has in school, and it could be taken away tomorrow. So I just wanted to thank you all, and I really appreciate hearing all these wonderful stories.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the good taping.
Jan, I just wanted to mention that I brought a selection of our feminist cookbooks here.
Oh.
Please take one home with you.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
Nice, and we have some extra titles.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Do I get it? Yes, and Loretta's going to speak next.
Did you sign a release?
Well, I can fire. I'm the producer.
I just
Well, I just would like to say that, Marty, by the way, when I'm taping, if you guys are talking, I'm going to cut this out. It sounds really disrespectful to the person at the podium because we can hear you.
Yeah.
So just so you know in the future when you're having these side conversations, you know, if I'm here talking, then they can hear that and it's like, oh, they don't care what she has to say, you know. So years ago in 1989, I made a film called Stage Fright, and I co-produced it, and the Maryland State Film Commissioner, J. Sloshberg Cohen, sat in my living room, looked at it and said, I tried to enter it in the Maryland Film Festival, and he said, nice try, okay? A month later, the National Foundation for the Arts invited the same film to the Berlin Film Festival. So in those days, it cost a lot of money to make film. As we got into this digital equipment, I learned more and more about the power of being behind the camera. And I decided to continue to record women, to what women were doing. With Bunny, I met her through the Maryland Women's Heritage Center in 2007. And she was at many of their organizations. I also taped for the NOW organization. And I had a friend, Amanda Bishop, who was the coordinator of the National Women's Hall of Fame. And she invited me and got me a press pass to go to the National Hall of Fame. At that time, it was Nancy Pelosi, Betty Ford, and Bernie Sanders. So I was able to tape all these great ladies, 10 episodes, there were 10 people, and recorded the whole thing. But Bunny, my experience with Bunny, because I've taped her a number of other times, is she was always very shy with me. I didn't really know her. I knew of her, and we saw meetings and stuff. I was not friends the way you all have been, but she was very shy. But she always said thank you for taping, and then she always let me tape. So she would not act like no, and then okay, go ahead. I'm really glad she did because now we have this legacy preserved. And it's funny because I'm donating this footage to Harriet and to the CWI organization. So it belongs to CWI, so you can get it through CWI. Anything you want was taped of Bunny. And then the other day, Margaret Dunkel emailed me and said, can I get the Bunny's tape? And by the way, where's my Hall of Fame tape? And she'd been up on YouTube all this time, and there had been 99 hits on her show. So these shows are all up on that channel, and you can just go in Hall of Fame or Hurst Story, and the Hurst Stories are when I take the excerpts, like I did with Bunny, from the Hall of Fame and then make a half hour out of it. So in total, I've preserved 75 different women from the National Hall and the regular Hall of Fame. So I really need you women to support my Guerrilla TV. Has no funding, except CWI does pay me each month. They're the only ones, but everything else has no funding behind it. It's just me and the camera, editing and getting it out there. You need to go on the channel and hit it and keep promoting and pushing these videos out. Because when that young lady who stood here, which by the way, thank you so much for inviting her and the great work you both did on this event today, but that young lady said when she saw the video, she saw Bunny in a way she had never seen her. And that's my goal, is that the generations coming will see Bunny the way you all remember her. So please do go and support the channel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Bunny's left a legacy, and we know that legacies are the aspirations and the future goals that people take. It is not money and so on. So what do we do from here? What do we do with our daughters, our neighbors, and so on? So let's take the energy that Bunny certainly exuded and start saying, from here on in, to honor Bunny, I am going to. And just write 3 things down you're going to do within the next 6 months that will move the movement forward, that will better people's lives. So in conclusion, we thank you all for sharing these memories, sharing these thoughts, and know that we are all human. We will mourn a loss, but from the loss we will gain a new perspective how to move forward. Thank you for this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for all your help.
And please have a little snack on the way. Marty, do you want these for your archives?
Yes, please.
Do you have a copy of the book at home?
Hello, my name is Janice Koch. I met Bunny in the 90s. Sort of late to meet her, right? I got a master's degree in women's studies after being an undergraduate student in the sciences and science education. I went on to do a doctorate in science education when I discovered, in fact, there just weren't enough people who understood the importance of having a history of women in science, understanding that having a history was a prerequisite to claiming a right to shape a future. Now, where do I land up in the 90s? But on the same team as Bunny, and we were consultants to federally funded gender equity projects. Bunny's work focused on higher ed, and my work focused on pre-college education. But of all the things that I remember, it was Bunny's applying her work on the chilly climate for women in college classrooms to the pre-college environment. And when we were working with teachers, at the time I was teaching a course on gender issues in the classroom, when we were working with teachers, the two of us were able to model for our audience what that might look like to be a girl, to be a young woman in a co-educational classroom who really was ignored, was not valued in the ways that her male counterparts were. Bunny brought that home by role-playing every single incident she would talk about. And of course, over the years, we connected, and when I moved down here from New York, we visited often. But I think what I want to share most with you today about Bunny, and all the things we say about her, how she helped us to look at all environments through the lens of gender. What are the girls and women doing there? What is their experience of sitting in that classroom? How do they feel about themselves? How can we help them feel better about themselves? Of all the things she did, she was so large in the impact she made on educational and social and corporate board environments. But her great value to me was always that she modeled to me what it looked like to be a strong, intelligent, kind, generous of spirit, brilliant strategist woman who had the strength of conviction and the clarity of focus and never had to be better than. She was never one to pass judgment. She was never one to be in any way in competition with you. She wanted to hear about who you were and what you were doing and what you thought. And she accepted that. And she valued it. And she made you feel very important and very, very liked. And most importantly, she really did model a generosity of spirit towards all people in ways that I have never experienced from anyone else. I thank her for that. I thank her for showing us what it looks like to be so strong on truly feminist terms, on truly the terms that girls and women were raised to be nurturing and kind, loving and accepting, warm and acknowledging of others. She was all of that, and powerful and strong, accomplished and brilliant. Thank you.
hands.